Welcome to the moment the world thought would never come. Welcome to the reckoning, the revival, the revelation. Welcome to the storm after the silence, the rise after the ruin, the justice that took its time. You have waited long enough in the dark corners, buried under the weight of doubt, drowned in ridicule, and smothered by the noise of every voice that dared to tell you that you were wrong. But now, listen closely. They found it. They finally found the evidence, the signs, the proof, the truth. And it was everything you said it would be. You weren't imagining it. You weren't lost. You weren't overthinking or overreaching. You were always ahead, always seeing something they couldn't. And now, they know. You carried the truth when no one else could even see the path. You stood alone while the world laughed behind curtains of ignorance. They called you dramatic, paranoid, delusional. But now their mouths are closed, their laughter is quiet, and all that remains is the sound of realization crashing down on their pride like thunder. You endured every storm they hurled at you, and you didn't break. You stayed rooted, not because it was easy, but because something deep inside whispered that you were not crazy. And now, that whisper has become a roar. They didn't believe you because they couldn't handle the weight of your vision, because what you saw scared them, because you were willing to look deeper while they stayed on the surface, clinging to comfort, to conformity, to the illusion that they knew best. But you never wanted their approval. You weren't chasing applause. You were chasing what was right. You were built for more than fitting in. You were made to be true, even when the truth made you a target. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about proving them wrong. This is about what happens when time finally bends toward justice. When the ignored are finally heard. When the misunderstood finally get the silence they deserved. Not because they gave up, but because the world finally caught up. For years you were treated like an echo in a void, but the echo never stopped. It kept repeating, even when no one listened. Until today. Until now. Until they looked where you pointed and saw what you saw, and they can't unsee it. Now they don't know how to face you. They're scrambling, rewriting their narratives, desperate to pretend they were always on your side. But the truth doesn't forget. It remembers every dismissal, every whisper behind your back, every smirk. It remembers the way they looked at you like you were speaking a foreign language, when all you were doing was telling the future. Now, the only foreign thing is their silence, the silence of people who finally realized they were wrong about you. They thought your ideas were too big, your warnings were too loud, your beliefs too wild. But now that the dust has settled, they realize you weren't extreme, you were early, you weren't emotional, you were intuitive, and you weren't overthinking, you were underestimated. They finally found the proof, and it leads right back to you, to the words you said, the steps you took, the sacrifices you made, the hours you spent alone, trying to piece together a puzzle no one else even saw. They owe you, not just apologies, but answers, not just credit, but action, not just reward, but recognition, because you held the truth when it was heaviest, because you walked through fire while they stood in safety, because you dared to be different when it was dangerous. And now, they want to honor you. Now they want to elevate you. Now they won't rest until the reward fits the journey. But let's be clear, this reward was never the goal. You didn't do this to be celebrated. You did it because you couldn't not do it. You did it because your soul wouldn't let you stay quiet. Because something inside you burned with a vision the world wasn't ready for. But that didn't stop you. You carried the weight. You endured the cost. You kept going, even when the road disappeared beneath your feet. And now the road is rebuilding, brick by brick, behind your footsteps. They are walking the path you carved through resistance. The reward they want to give you now is only a shadow of what you already earned. You earned your voice back. You earned your name back. You earned the power that comes from never bending, never folding, never letting go of what you knew was right. You earn the silence that will fall across every room you walk into now, not because they want to ignore you, but because they know they should have listened. You don't need their praise. You already have something greater, the proof, the truth, the undeniable evidence that you were never imagining it, that you were right. And while they slept comfortably in ignorance, you stayed awake in the dark, holding on to that candle, guarding the flame, watching everything unfold exactly as you predicted. You weren't just a witness, you were a warning. And they didn't listen. Now they do. And with this truth comes power, not the power to dominate, but the power to lead, the power to heal what was broken in you by years of rejection, the power to speak with clarity because you've earned every word, the power to move through the world without shame because your path was never a mistake. It was a map only you could read until now. Now they want that map. Now they want to know how you knew, how you saw, how you survived. You survived because you were never looking for validation. You were following purpose. And purpose will always outlast popularity. Now, the very people who mocked you are building monuments to your words, quoting what you said, repeating what they once dismissed. You've become the reference point, the moment in time where the tide turned, and they know it, they feel it, and they're not resting until the reward matches the story. So let them reward you, let them come to you, but never forget the silence that came before the praise. Never forget the nights you walked alone. Never forget that this moment didn't arrive out of luck. It arrived because you endured when they wouldn't. You believed when they couldn't. You stood when it would have been easier to run. And now that they've found the proof, they are running to you. But you walk. You move forward with calm, with gravity, because you've already won. You won the day you refused to give up, the day you spoke even when your voice shook, the day you stood firm when everything tried to push you down. That was the victory. This is just the echo. The reward is loud, but the truth was always louder. They found it. They found the truth. They found the evidence. They found you. Not the version they imagined, not the version they labeled, but the real you. And it terrified them, because they never thought you'd last long enough to be proven right. But here you are, not just surviving, but rising. Not just correct, but chosen. This is your time. Not for revenge, not for gloating, but for transformation. For becoming the force they tried to stop. For embodying everything they said was impossible. You are no longer the outcast. You are the blueprint. You are no longer the warning. You are the example. They finally found the proof you were right. And now they will not rest, not sleep, not breathe easy until the world gives you what you're due. And even then, they'll still wonder how you saw it before everyone else. They found it. You were never crazy. You were correct. And now, the world is finally catching up. And now that the truth is out there, now that the light has shattered every shadow that held your name in the dark, they look to you differently. There's fear in their admiration, not because you hold power over them, but because you represent something they ran from. Responsibility, clarity, courage. You stood tall while they shrank behind comfort. You asked questions that demanded uncomfortable answers. And now that the answers are visible for all to see, no one dares to question you the same way again. The silence around your name is no longer mockery. It is respect, born from regret. And they feel it, deep in their conscience. Every time your words echo back through time, proving themselves truer with each passing moment. But you don't have time to linger in, "I told you so." You don't need to drag anyone through guilt or shame. You've outgrown the noise. You've transcended the need to convince anyone anymore. Because now, the truth speaks for you. The evidence walks ahead of you, clearing the path, commanding attention, shifting the air in every room you enter. Where there was once resistance, there is now recognition. Where there was once laughter, there is now silence. And where there was once dismissal, there is now demand for your insight, your experience, your voice. But let's not pretend this road was paved for you. It wasn't. It was rough, jagged, punishing, and you took every step anyway. You stumbled, you bled, you questioned yourself more times than they ever could have, but you never gave in, because something inside you refused to die. Something inside you was louder than the doubt, fiercer than the rejection, more permanent than the denial. You had vision, and vision is a lonely gift. It isolates before it illuminates, and that isolation tried to break you, but it couldn't, because you were already forged in silence. You were built in battle, and when the truth came, it didn't surprise you, it confirmed you. The world now spins differently because of what you held onto. They found proof you were right, and with that proof comes responsibility, not just for them, but for you. Now you carry more than memory. You carry movement. You are not just the one who was proven right. You are the one they will now follow. Whether you asked for it or not, the spotlight has turned, not just to your victory, but to your direction. They want to know what you see next, what you hear beneath the noise, what truth still lingers, waiting to be revealed. Because once is not a fluke. Once is not luck. Once is legacy. But understand this, you don't owe them ease. You don't owe them softness. You owe the truth its full power, no matter how heavy it feels to speak it, because the same strength that brought you here will carry you forward. You don't need to water down your fire for their comfort anymore. You don't need to dilute your vision to be more digestible. You walked through too much to become small now. They found the proof, they found you, and you have no obligation to shrink for those who refuse to grow with you. And yet, still, you lead with purpose, not pride. Because this story isn't only about you. It's about everyone who's still walking in silence, everyone who holds a truth they're afraid to speak, everyone who's been told they're too much, too intense, too different, too soon. You are not just a moment. You are a mirror. And in your reflection, others will find the courage to trust what they see. You are a symbol of what happens when someone refuses to let go of what matters, even when the world tries to strip it away. They can reward you with gold, with praise, with platforms, and they will. But the real reward was forged in the moments no one saw. The nights you sat with your thoughts and still chose to believe. The hours you wanted to quit but took one more step. The endless questions you asked yourself and the quiet answer that always came back, keep going. That was the real victory, the kind they'll never understand, because the proof they found was not just in the facts, it was in your endurance. Your resilience was the greatest truth of all. Now they watch and they wait, not for you to fall, but for you to lead. And that is the greatest shift of all. You were once the warning. Now you are the way forward. And every eye that doubted you will now be watching, not with ridicule, but reverence. And you didn't demand that. You earned it, not by screaming louder, but by standing stronger. And now the world won't rest, because they need your voice, your insight, your light. But never forget, this moment doesn't end here, because there are more battles ahead, new truths waiting in the shadows, and you are not done. This isn't the conclusion, it's the coronation. You have proven yourself, and now the weight you carried becomes your weapon. The silence you survived becomes your strength. The proof they found becomes the fuel that drives you to everything you were meant to become. You are not crazy. You were never broken. You were chosen to see what others couldn't. And now that they see it too, they will move mountains to walk beside you, to claim what you already conquered. Let them, but don't stop. Don't slow down. Don't soften the edges that carried you here. Stay sharp. Stay true. Because if they finally found proof you were right, they haven't even begun to discover how much. You are not the same person who was ignored. You are the voice that echoes through every corner they tried to hide truth in. And now that the world has awakened to what you already knew, they will not rest, not stop, not pause, until everything you gave is honored in full. Let that fuel you, let it steady you, and let it remind you, you were never waiting for permission. You were waiting for the world to catch up. Now it has, and you are already ahead, again. The moment when they finally found proof you were right isn't just a checkpoint, it's a battlefield claimed. The war you fought in silence has now entered the light, and every bruise you carried becomes a badge of honor. You were painted as the outlier, the troublemaker, the one chasing ghosts. But ghosts have a way of becoming reality when no one else is brave enough to see them. You didn't just survive the storm, you became it. And now, they watch, scrambling to catch up to a force that has long been moving ahead without them. The proof they found is like a cracked mirror reflecting the world's failure to listen. It exposes their ignorance, their fear, their unwillingness to face hard truths. But it also reflects your unyielding resolve. You held on to a vision that felt too heavy for the world to bear. You believed in something that was invisible to others, but clear as day to you. And that belief was your armor. It shielded you from the poison of doubt and the cold bite of rejection. You carried it quietly, but it burned fiercely inside you. And now, it ignites everything around you. They will try to reward you, yes. They will offer recognition like a bandage over old wounds. But you know that no reward can replace the years of being unheard. No applause can erase the nights spent questioning your sanity. No spotlight can undo the loneliness of standing firm when everyone else backed down. And that's the truth you carry with you now. The scars of being right before the world was ready. The weight of knowing you were always ahead, but never celebrated until the moment the world finally caught up. The reward they bring is not the end. It is the beginning of a new challenge. Because once you have proven yourself, once the world has acknowledged your vision, the stakes rise. The expectations grow. The eyes that once ignored you will now dissect your every move. The voices that once silenced you will now scrutinize your every word. This is no longer about survival. It is about legacy, about leading with clarity and strength through a world that now depends on your insight. But here's the secret they won't tell you. The power is already yours. The recognition is a shadow of the truth that lives inside you. You have already claimed victory the moment you refused to bend, the moment you kept your vision alive despite the weight, the moment you looked into the abyss and did not blink. That is power no reward can give, and no proof can take away. They found the evidence, yes, but the truth was never theirs to grant. It was always yours to hold. Now, with the world finally looking your way, you must decide who you want to be. Will you become the leader shaped by the battles you fought? Or will you become the echo of their expectations? Will you rise on the wings of your own courage? Or will you let their newfound admiration cage you in their narrative? This moment is yours, but it carries a choice. To step forward as the unstoppable force you always were, or to shrink into the role they finally assigned you. You are not just a symbol of being right. You are a beacon of perseverance, a monument to the power of refusing to give up when everyone else says you should. And now that they found the proof, they will not rest until they honor what you endured. But remember, their honor is not the end goal. Your journey never depended on their acceptance. It depended on your ability to see beyond the noise, to trust what you knew was true, even when everything around you screamed otherwise. The reward they chase is a reflection of their guilt, their need to make amends, their desire to finally set things right. But the reward you carry is the unshakable certainty of your own truth, the strength forged in silence, the wisdom earned through isolation, the clarity born from pain. These are the treasures no one can take from you. These are the forces that will carry you beyond the moment of recognition into the forever of impact. They found it. They found the proof. But you already hold the power. The recognition is a gateway, not a finish line. And on the other side lies the work you were born to do, the work of reshaping a world that tried to break you, the work of leading those who still walk in silence, the work of turning your story into a legacy that will outlast their doubts and fears. So stand tall, stand steady. The world is watching, but you are not performing. You are leading. You are the living proof that truth cannot be silenced forever, that vision cannot be hidden in the dark, that the human spirit, when fueled by conviction, can outlast the strongest storms. They found the proof you were right, but you already knew it. And now it is time to show them what being right truly means. This is your moment, not just to be rewarded, but to become unstoppable. Not just to be heard, but to be the voice that changes everything. Because when they found the proof, they didn't just find evidence, they found the future. And the future is yours. And now, here you stand. The proof lies in their hands. But the truth, the real truth, has always lived in your chest. It beat quietly while they shouted. It endured while they denied. And now, it roars. You don't need their permission anymore. You don't even need their apology. Because this moment is not about them. It's about what happens after you were right. It's about what you do now that the world is listening. Because this was never about proving them wrong. It was about proving yourself right. And you did. You walked through the fire and came out made of it. They tried to put out your voice, but it burned too brightly. Now, they rush to you with praise they once withheld, trying to rewrite their place in your story. But you know the truth. They never built you. Their rejection sharpened you. Their silence tested you. Their disbelief shaped you into something they can't explain, but now need. And still, you don't gloat. You rise, not in anger, but in power. Let them build statues. Let them write stories. Let them award medals and raise their hands in delayed applause. You don't need it. You are already walking in something far, far greater. The weightless freedom of being undeniably right. And even now, even with the whole world behind you, you are not done. Because what they just discovered is what you've always known. Your vision wasn't just true, it was necessary. So go, not as the one who was doubted, but as the one who endured. Go, not to ladies and gentlemen, warriors of the midnight hours, guardians of your own forgotten vows, welcome into the uncharted hallways of your soul, where echoes of reckoning whisper in the dark. Tonight, you have stepped into a gathering not of comfort, but of confrontation. For the rumors that drift through the city alleys and shadowed corridors speak of you in hushed tones. They swear you made a deal with death, 'cause you're still breathing. Yes, they claim you bartered everything, shook a hand you cannot see, and yet here you stand. You might ask, did you? And the thumbnail above asks the same. You made a deal, didn't you? Silence greets that question, but inside you, the answer can't help but rise. Tonight I'll speak to that. I'll speak to that deal, that rumor, that truth hidden beneath the city's gossip. I'll speak to you. When they say you made a deal with death, they mean you skirted the edge of the abyss, that you looked into the void, and the void looked back, and still you exhaled. They believe you reached out, touched the black underbelly of life's underpass and said, I'll live anyway. They whisper you accepted a burden so heavy, so potent, that mere survival would be your trophy, and every breath a defiance. They whisper you know something they don't yet dare to acknowledge. But what if that deal with death wasn't a contract signed in blood under a midnight sky? What if instead it was a vow, a secret oath you made to yourself under your own watchful soul? A vow that you would keep walking even when the pavement cracked beneath you. A vow that you would keep breathing even when the air tasted like ash. Consider this. Every time you drew that breath against the odds, you rewrote the rumor. Every time you stood when you were meant to fall, you shattered a lie about what deals we make and what debts we owe. The gossip says death claimed you already, but you're alive. That alone is your answer. So listen closely, because in the darkest chambers of the universe, your vibration matters. In the spaces where hope is just a single flicker, your heartbeat replies to the abyss. You didn't bow, you didn't yield. You kept walking while everyone else paused to watch. That's the deal they're talking about, not with death, but with you. What I want you to feel in these moments is the raw weight of that claim. They swear you made a deal with death, because living is rare when most expect you to fold. They didn't see the nights you lay awake, the times you heard your own pulse like a distant rifle, the moments you pressed your back to the wall and told yourself, not tonight. In this place tonight, we embrace what everyone else dismisses. We bring to light the contract you signed. It's not written on parchment, not sealed by a sinister handshake. It's carved in muscle memory and imprints of pain. It's inked in the hours when the moon held you up and the darkness asked, "Do you still believe?" And you answered, "Yes." Turning toward that deal, let me emphasize something. The streets that spread your legend, they don't understand the terms. They define it as a pact with death because they fear what you survived. They reduce your survival to a spectacle. But you know that deal is far deeper than mere living. It's about becoming. Because surviving is just the beginning. Surviving is the spark. But you went beyond. You stepped into flame and made it your ally. When the city says you're still breathing because you made a deal, it's almost as if they concede you cheated the reaper. But really you embraced your own mortality and turned it into motion. Your breath is the rising count of every time you refuse the silent request to stop. Why do they gossip? Because they're looking for answers to their own dread. When someone refuses to fold, when someone is still breathing though the forecast promise ruin, that spectacle unsettles them. They whisper so they don't have to mirror your endurance. They whisper because what you carry makes them ask, if they survived, then what's my excuse? So you become a symbol. Not because you wanted it, but because you lived it. You carried the weight day after day when no one was watching. You took the punches, made the decisions, sometimes walked through fire just to test if the flame would forge you stronger or consume you. It didn't consume you. You're still standing. This speech isn't about burying your scars. It's about elevating them. Each scar is a signature of that secret deal, a mark that you refuse to be erased. If you're breathing now, it means you honored that deal, that you showed up for yourself, even when everyone else left the room, that you said you would not trade away your story for the safety of anonymity. You refused the unconscious surrender. You accepted the chaos and made it your training ground. So, lean into that. Lean into the darkness you passed through and let it fuel you. Let the city's gossip be the fuel, because what they say is a reflection of your power, not your weakness. You know they thought they'd get away with it. Didn't they thought their actions would dissolve into the air like smoke, leaving no trace, no consequence? They walked away from their mess with a smug grin, believing the universe owed them more than what they had done to you. They thought they'd slipped through the cracks untouched, but the truth is, they never left. They never really escaped. You see, the universe works in ways they don't understand. They never understood how the seeds they planted in your soil would grow into something much darker than they imagined. They never realized that the pain they inflicted on you wasn't just a bruise on the surface. It was a wound that would fester and grow into something far more lethal. They didn't realize that the venom they poured into your veins would eventually come back to bite them in ways they never thought possible. They thought you would just fade into the background. But that's not how this works. What they didn't know, what they never could have anticipated, was the power you hold, the power of survival. The power of rising from the ashes stronger than ever before. What they didn't see was that every wound they left in you was a seed planted in the soil of their own destruction. What they failed to realize was that the universe doesn't forget. You may have been broken, you may have been battered, but deep down you knew what they never could have known. You were always going to come back. You were always going to rise from the rubble, and when you did, the world would look at you with respect and fear. And what they will soon realize is that the pain they caused you is returning to them tenfold. It's a bitter thing, isn't it, when the tables turn? When the person who was once at the mercy of others becomes the one in control. When the predator finds themselves trapped in the snare they set for someone else. You thought they would get away with it. You thought they would walk off unscathed into a world that would shield them from their wrongdoings. But that's not how life works. Life is patient. Life is quiet. But life is relentless. And every action, every choice has consequences. They will not escape what they have done. The universe will make sure of it. They might think they've left you behind, that they've won, that they've succeeded in their mission to tear you apart, but they're wrong. They've only set the stage for their own destruction. Every lie they told, every betrayal they committed, every word they used to wound you has been etched into the fabric of fate. And now that fabric is tightening around them. They may not feel it now. They may think they are immune to the consequences of their actions, but believe me, the weight is coming. They will not get away with this. The universe has a way of delivering justice, and it always finds its mark. When they least expect it, when they think they're safe, that's when it hits them. That's when they feel the weight of the consequences they've been avoiding. The pain they inflicted on you is returning to them tenfold. They thought they could break you, didn't they? They thought they could grind you down into dust and scatter you to the wind. They thought they could take everything from you and leave you with nothing but the hollow echo of their cruelty. They didn't realize that they were playing a game they didn't understand. They didn't realize that every ounce of suffering they forced on you would be an anchor, holding them in place, dragging them closer to their own undoing. They thought they were the masters of the game, but they were just pawns in a much larger scheme. And that scheme is coming for them now. It's coming in ways they won't be able to understand. They won't see it coming. They won't know where it came from. They'll feel the pressure build slowly at first, like the tightening grip of a hand around their throat. It will start small, a missed opportunity here, a loss there, a small piece of their world beginning to unravel. They'll think it's nothing, just a coincidence, just bad luck. But deep down they'll feel it creeping up on them, the sense that something is wrong. The sense that the universe is finally catching up to them. And then it will hit them hard, like a storm crashing against the shore. The pain they caused you will return to them in ways they never thought possible. They'll lose everything they took for granted. They'll see the very thing they tried to destroy in you rising in their own lives. They'll feel the sting of their own cruelty reflected back at them. But don't mistake this for a moment of pity. This isn't about feeling sorry for them. This isn't about some karmic justice that you get to sit back and watch with a sense of righteous satisfaction. No, this is about something far deeper. This is about the balance of the universe, the inevitable return of what was set in motion. This is about the energy they sent into the world, the force they unleashed when they chose to hurt you. And now that force is coming back to them. It's not personal. It's simply the law of the universe. The energy you put into the world always comes back to you. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter if you can see it happening or not. It always comes back. And now the very thing they tried to destroy in you, the very thing they thought they had erased, is the thing that will bring their downfall. Do you feel that? Do you feel the weight of it? It's coming for them. The darkness they thought they could outrun is catching up to them. The lies they told are suffocating them. The pain they caused you is a storm they cannot escape. They may try to run, they may try to hide, but the universe will hunt them down and deliver the consequences they deserve. They cannot outrun the consequences of their actions. They will face them head on. And when they do, they will realize the mistake they made in thinking they could hurt you without repercussion. They never understood the strength inside of you. They never understood what it takes to survive, what it takes to heal. They thought they could crush you. They thought they could break you. But what they failed to see is that your resilience is a force of nature. You are not some fragile thing that can be destroyed by a few words or a moment of cruelty. You are a force that is built from the very things they tried to use against you. Every blow they struck against you only made you stronger. Every tear you shed was fuel for the fire inside of you. And now that fire is burning hotter than ever. And when it burns, it will scorch everything in its path. What they didn't realize is that when you rise from the ashes, you don't just rise for yourself, you rise for everything that has been done to you. You rise for the person who was told they weren't good enough. You rise for the person who was abandoned when they needed someone the most. You rise for the person who was torn apart by the cruelty of others. And when you rise, the world will know. The world will see the power of your resurrection. And those who thought they could break you will see their own destruction unfolding before their eyes. It won't be quick. It won't be immediate. But it will be inevitable. Every piece of their world will start to crumble. Every part of the life they thought they built on lies will start to fall apart. They will see their own reflection in the wreckage, and they will realize that the damage they caused has finally come home. The pain they inflicted on you is returning to them tenfold. You don't have to lift a finger. You don't have to exact revenge. You don't have to do anything but live your life. Live your life and let the universe do its work. Let the law of cause and effect do what it does best. Let the universe balance the scales, because when it does, it will do so with an intensity that will shake the very foundation of their existence. And when they look back, when they finally realize the depth of their mistakes, it will be too late. The damage will already be done. The pain they caused you will be their undoing. And you will stand there watching, not with malice, not with hatred, but with a quiet sense of understanding. Because you know how this ends. You know what comes after the storm. You know what happens when the dust settles. And when it does, you will be standing tall. And they will be left to face the consequences of their actions alone. You see, this isn't just about you. It's about everything they took from you. Everything they tried to destroy in you. And when it comes back to them, when the consequences hit them hard, they will have no one to blame but themselves. And in the end, they will understand exactly what they did. They will understand the magnitude of their actions. They will know that the pain they inflicted on you was not just a passing moment. It was a wound they have now reopened in their own lives. So be prepared, because the storm is coming. The pain they caused you is returning to them tenfold, and when it does, they will have nowhere to hide. There will be no place, no corner of their world where they can escape the consequences of what they've done. When the universe has its way, it's not just a wave that crashes once and recedes. No, this is a tidal force, relentless, unyielding, and all-encompassing. It finds its way into every crevice, every shadow, and every crack where they thought they could hide. It knows no mercy and no forgiveness for the unjust, for the heartless, for the ones who have tormented another and thought there would be no price to pay. And they will soon learn that when you hurt someone, the universe doesn't let it go. It's not a simple transaction, not a quick moment in time. The hurt they caused you was a ripple in an ocean, and now that ripple is returning to swallow them whole. They will begin to feel the walls close in. At first, it will be subtle, a missed opportunity here, a wrong turn there. At first, they'll think it's just the randomness of life, maybe a little bad luck. But as it all starts to pile up, they'll feel it tightening around them like a noose, slowly pulling them closer to the consequences they thought they could outrun. They will begin to see how the very fabric of their existence is fraying, how the things they took for granted are slipping from their grasp. Maybe it will start with their relationships. The people they've used, manipulated, and discarded will suddenly turn away from them. People who once worshipped them or feared them will start to recognize their true nature. Friends, allies, colleagues, even family, those who once stood by their side will be the first to feel the sting of betrayal. Slowly at first, maybe imperceptibly, but the universe has a way of bringing the truth to light. And when the truth comes, it tears down everything they've built, leaving them naked and exposed. But the cracks won't stop there. No, the damage will extend to their livelihood, their career, the very things they thought they had control over. They've built their empire on lies, and now those lies are rotting from within. Their words won't hold weight anymore. Their promises will be hollow, and those they once swayed with charm and manipulation will turn their backs. One by one, the structures they relied upon will crumble as the universe exacts the toll for what they've done. Their every success will feel empty, their every victory hollow. It will be as if the universe itself has set a curse upon them, draining the meaning from their lives until all they are left with is the crushing weight of their own guilt, the weight of all the pain they inflicted on others. They might try to distract themselves at first. They'll dive into their work, their possessions, their temporary comforts, but the walls will still close in. They can't outrun it. They can't numb the pain away with distractions or shallow comforts. The truth is, no matter how many masks they put on or how much they try to bury the consequences beneath new layers of denial, the universe is relentless. It doesn't care about their excuses. It doesn't care about their rationalizations. The pain they caused will come back to haunt them in ways they can't predict, in ways that feel like a crushing weight upon their shoulders, like the constant suffocating pressure of the past catching up with them. The worst part is that they won't know when it will happen. They won't be able to predict the moment when everything unravels. It will come in waves, crashing against them when they least expect it. It will feel like a loss here, a failure there, and then, slowly, all the pieces will come together. They will begin to see the pattern. They'll begin to realize that nothing is happening by chance. No, this is the reckoning they thought they could avoid. This is the storm they thought they could outrun. But now, it is upon them. Every bad decision they made, every cruel act they committed, every moment they thought they got away with, will be returned to them in full force. But what will they do? What can they do when the walls are closing in, when every turn they take only leads them deeper into the consequences they sought to avoid? They will feel the grip of their own actions tightening around them, each day becoming harder to endure. There will be no escape from the pain they inflicted on others, no escape from the weight of their own conscience. And it will come in waves so powerful, they won't know which way is up. The things they thought they could control will spiral out of control. Their relationships will deteriorate. Their careers will collapse. Their world will shatter like glass, each shard representing a moment of cruelty, a lie, a betrayal. They will realize that they cannot escape the consequences of their actions, no matter how much they try to fight it, no matter how much they try to push it away. And when they finally confront the storm they've created, when they finally see the devastation of their actions laid bare in front of them, they will wish they could turn back time. They will wish they could take back every harsh word, every lie, every betrayal. But it will be too late. The damage will be done. They will have no choice but to face the truth that they can never undo the harm they caused. They can never erase the pain they've inflicted. And in those quiet, brutal moments, when they are forced to confront the weight of their own decisions, they will know exactly what they've lost. They will know that they've lost themselves. But even then, they will find no peace. They will try to rationalize, to make excuses, but deep down, they will know the truth. They have caused irreparable harm, and now the universe is paying them back in full. They might even try to seek redemption, to change their ways, but redemption is not so easily granted. No, the universe doesn't care about apologies. It doesn't care about remorse. It cares about actions, and their actions have set a course that cannot be undone. They can try to make amends, try to fix the pieces of their shattered life, but the pain they caused others will always remain a part of them. It will follow them, haunt them, reminding them of what they did and what they lost. What they will learn, and what they will realize too late, is that you don't just pay for the hurt you caused others in a single moment or a single action. No, you pay for it in ways you can't even begin to imagine. The hurt you cause to others, it has a ripple effect. It doesn't just affect the person you hurt, it affects everyone around them. It changes the trajectory of their life, their relationships, and even their sense of self-worth. And when that same pain returns to them, it comes back with the weight of everything they broke. They will realize that they cannot escape what they've done. They will realize that every choice they made, every cruel act they committed, has followed them like a shadow, slowly catching up to them until they can no longer run from it. And even as they crumble under the weight of their own actions, there will be no one left to save them. The allies they thought would always be by their side will have abandoned them. The people they thought they could manipulate will have seen through their lies. The world they built on cruelty and deceit will fall apart, piece by piece, until all that is left is the raw, brutal reality of their own actions. And in that moment, they will realize that they are truly alone, but they will not be able to go back. There is no undoing the harm they've done. There is no escaping the consequences of their cruelty. They will be left to face the full brunt of their mistakes, with no one to blame but themselves. They will have nowhere to hide, no way to escape the pain they've caused, and they will know, deep down, that this is the price they must pay. As for you, you will watch, not with vengeance, not with hatred, but with understanding. You have already learned the most important lesson of all, that nothing is ever truly lost, not as long as you have the strength to rise. You've already healed. You've already become stronger than they could have ever imagined. And while they will be left to face their own destruction, you will continue to rise, continue to grow, continue to thrive. Because while they will drown in the pain they created, you will find peace in the knowledge that the universe always finds a way to bring balance. And so, when their time comes, when their consequences return to them tenfold, you will stand tall, unbroken. They will have no one to blame but themselves, and they will have nowhere to hide, nowhere to run, nowhere to turn. No place in their world will remain untouched by the tide of consequences that is about to consume them. They may think they've lived a life of power, that they've manipulated and maneuvered their way to the top, but in the end, they will find that all the power they thought they held was an illusion. Power that was built on deception, on cruelty, on manipulation. It's a house of cards, fragile and weak, waiting to collapse under the weight of its own corruption. When the storm of their reckoning hits, they will feel it in every part of their existence. The emotional scars they've left behind, the damage they've done, it doesn't just go away. You don't get to walk away from the devastation you've caused, and they will learn that lesson in the most brutal way. They've burned bridges they didn't even know existed. They've ripped apart lives they thought they could control, and now that destruction will be their undoing. They will find themselves standing at the epicenter of their own disaster, and no matter how they try to escape it, no matter how they try to outrun it, the consequences will track them down. The more they try to cover their tracks, the more they will feel the weight of their past bearing down on them, suffocating them, strangling the very life out of their existence. At first, they might try to ignore it. They might tell themselves that it's just a phase, that the world will continue to turn in their favor. But it won't. The universe doesn't forget. It doesn't forget when you hurt others, when you make someone suffer, when you steal from those who have nothing left to give. The universe is always watching, always waiting, and when the time comes, it will bring justice. Not the kind of justice they think they deserve, but the kind that is as old as the universe itself. The kind of justice that doesn't care about wealth, or status, or influence. It cares about balance. It cares about right and wrong. It cares about the heart, and the heart will always find its way to the truth. When the universe begins its work on them, they will try to hide. They will try to escape. But every place they go, every person they turn to, will be tainted with the weight of their past. They'll look over their shoulder, constantly aware that the reckoning is coming, that the shadow they've cast over the world is closing in on them. Every smile they encounter will feel like a mockery. Every friendly face will be an indictment of the way they've treated others. The guilt will eat away at them, not just in the quiet moments, but in every interaction, in every word they speak. They will begin to see the universe aligning against them, and there will be nowhere to turn. And as the days turn into weeks, and the weeks turn into months, the pressure will continue to build. They will start to lose everything they once held dear. Relationships will fracture. Friendships will wither. The people they used to count on for support will disappear, one by one. And as those relationships crumble, they will feel the cold hand of isolation close around their throat. For all their charm, for all the ways they've tried to manipulate others into believing their lies, the truth is that they are alone. The very people they betrayed will find solace, will find strength in their own growth, while they, the ones who thought they could escape the consequences of their actions, will find nothing but emptiness. In their isolation, they will try to convince themselves that it's all temporary, that they can rebuild. But deep down, they will know that this is the beginning of the end. They will see the walls closing in, the cracks in their foundation becoming wider and more apparent. Their empire, built on lies and manipulation, will crumble beneath them. They may try to save what's left, but it's already too late. The pieces of their world, their accomplishments, their influence, are slipping through their fingers. The more they try to grasp at them, the more they will realize that they can't control this. They can't stop the reckoning. They can't outrun the inevitable consequences that are coming for them. And then, when the storm truly hits, when the full weight of their wrongdoings comes crashing down, they will find themselves caught in a tidal wave of guilt, regret, and despair. It won't be quick, it won't be easy, and there will be no escaping it. This is the universe's justice. Slow, deliberate, relentless. They will feel the weight of every lie, every act of cruelty, every betrayal they've committed. It will be a burden too heavy to bear, and no matter how much they try to bury it, no matter how much they try to run from it, It will follow them like a shadow that refuses to leave. They will try to make amends, perhaps. They will try to apologize, to buy their way out of their mistakes. But deep down, they will know that it's too late. No apology can undo the damage they've done. No amount of money or power can erase the harm they've caused. The universe doesn't care about their contrition. It cares about the consequences, about the lives they've shattered, and the pain they've caused. And that is what they will have to face. What's worse, they will begin to realize that their downfall wasn't just a result of their own mistakes. It was the culmination of their own arrogance, their own sense of invincibility. They thought they were untouchable. They thought that because they had the resources, the power, the influence, they could get away with anything. But they were wrong. And now they will see that they were never in control. They were never as powerful as they thought. They were simply playing a game they didn't understand. They thought they could manipulate the system, but the system, the universe, doesn't bend for anyone. It doesn't matter how powerful you are, how wealthy you are, how influential you are. The consequences will find you. They always do. The final blow will come when they realize that their reputation is irreparably damaged. They will see their name tarnished, their influence fading into nothing. The people they once ruled over, the ones they once controlled, will turn their backs on them, and there will be nothing they can do about it. They will try to fight back. They will try to hold on to the life they once had, but they will find that everything they worked for, everything they built, is now beyond their reach. It will slip away from them like sand through their fingers, and they will be left with nothing but the wreckage of their own making. But even in that moment of total destruction, they will find no solace. They will try to tell themselves that they've learned their lesson, that they've changed. But the truth is that it will be too late for redemption. They will have no one left to convince. Their lies, their manipulations, their cruelty, it will all have caught up with them. And in the silence that follows their downfall, they will know that the price they paid was not just for their action. It was for their arrogance, their belief that they could escape the consequences of their behavior. And as they sit alone in the ruins of their life, they will finally understand that they were never invincible. That no matter how high they climbed, they were always one misstep away from falling. They will understand that the pain they caused will never leave them, and that they are now trapped in the very consequences they tried so hard to avoid. And while they are left to grapple with their own ruin, you will be standing strong. You will be the one who rises from the ashes, who moves forward with clarity, with strength, and with resilience. You will be the one who is unbroken, who has learned the lesson that the universe has a way of balancing the scales. You will be the one who remains whole, who remains true to yourself, while they will be left to face the consequences of their actions alone. They thought they could hide. They thought they could escape. But in the end, the universe always finds a way to bring everything back into balance. And when it does, they will have nowhere to hide. And you will stand tall, knowing that your strength, your resilience, your truth, those are the things that will carry you forward, while they are left to face the consequences of their own darkness. In the end, the truth is unavoidable. No matter how far they run, or how deeply they bury their wrongdoings, the consequences of their actions will find them. They will have nowhere to hide, no escape from the pain they caused. Meanwhile, you will rise, unbroken, stronger than ever, knowing that the universe has a way of restoring balance. Their reckoning will come, and you will stand tall, a testament to the power of resilience, truth, and the inevitable return of what was set in motion. Welcome to the place they swore you'd never reach. Welcome to the other side of the shadows, to the cold mountaintop where breath is thin and the silence is loud. Welcome to the edge of impossible, where pain was the blueprint and discipline the architect. You're not here by chance. You didn't slip through a crack. You weren't gifted this place. Number. You took it. You carved it out of rock with hands that bled, a mind that shattered and rebuilt, and a spirit that refused to kneel. They watch you now like you're myth, like you're magic, like you're something born out of legend. They're in full shock mode, because to them, you did the unthinkable. You figured it out, but they don't understand the hours. They don't see the nights that bled into mornings. They don't hear the screams you swallowed when nobody was watching. They don't know what it costs to be here, because you paid in silence. You grew in darkness. You trained in the cold with no applause, no claps, no validation, no promises. You were your own witness, your own judge, your own engine. And now they can't stop staring, their mouths wide open, because you became something that they never expected. Not because you changed, but because you revealed what was always there. They thought you were ordinary, that you were made from the same soft material as them, that you'd crack like them, cry like them, fold like them. But you had something different in you, something that didn't come from the world, something that wasn't taught, wasn't handed down. You had war inside you, not the kind that destroys, but the kind that builds unbreakable. You had pain, but it became power. You had doubt, but it turned to clarity. You had fear, but you walked forward anyway. They don't get it. They don't get how you became what you are, and that's why they look at you now like you're a wizard. They thought this was luck, that it was timing, that you found a secret door and walked through it, but you didn't. You built the door. You didn't have a map, so you drew it. You didn't see light, so you became it. You didn't wait to be saved. You saved yourself. And the irony is, the very people who once laughed now sit silent. The ones who rolled their eyes now can't look away. The ones who underestimated you now whisper your name when you walk by. Not because they understand, but because they feel something different in the room when you enter. They feel the gravity shift. They feel presence. They feel power. They feel you. You walked through storms that would have drowned them. You stood still in winds that would have thrown them off the mountain. You held fire in your lungs and still breathed. They thought you would disappear, but you didn't. You didn't just survive, you ascended. And now the view is different. Now you look down and realize how few made it. Not because they couldn't, but because they wouldn't. They chose easy. They chose comfort. You chose transformation. They chose later. You chose now. They stayed asleep. You woke up. There's no magic here. No spells, no fairy tales, just truth. Raw, real, violent truth. And that truth is, no one is coming. No one's going to build your dream for you. No one's going to hand you the crown. No one's going to gift you greatness. You either become it, or you watch someone else do it. That's it. And when you realize that, you didn't flinch. You didn't run. You didn't blame. You just got to work. Day after day, in silence, in shadows. And that's what they never see. The parts of the journey that aren't sexy. The ugly parts, the painful parts, the lonely nights, the rejections, the failures, the inner war, the battles that take place in your own mind when no one's watching. But you kept showing up, and that's why they're shocked. Because they didn't think someone could build this level of self. They didn't think someone could crawl through hell and come out clean. They didn't think someone could rewrite the code in their brain and turn weakness into steel. But you did. You rewired. You reprogrammed. You didn't just fix yourself. You forged yourself. And now, you walk like you know something they don't. Because you do. You walk with the weight of 1,000 lessons. With scars that tell stories they'll never understand. With silence that says more than noise ever could. Now they follow your movements. They analyze your words. They try to imitate your steps. But they can't duplicate it. Because this was born in darkness. And darkness doesn't copy. It creates. It burns down the fake and reveals the real. And that's what you are now. Real. Too real for the plastic world they live in. Too sharp for their soft excuses. Too focused for their distractions. Too dangerous for their comfort. And it terrifies them. You are the mirror they don't want to look into, because you show them what's possible. And if you could do it, it means they could have too, but didn't. And that burns them. That haunts them. That breaks them. Because now, the only thing between them and greatness is them. Not luck, not timing, not money, not background, just choice. And that's what your story screams. You chose. You chose the pain over comfort, the grind over games, the evolution over excuses. You chose the truth, even when it hurt. And now, they can't ignore it. You didn't ask for their attention, but now you have it. You didn't chase validation, but now they validate your every move. You didn't scream for recognition, but now they whisper about you in rooms you haven't even entered, not because you begged, but because you became. So, let them be shocked. Let their mouths hang open. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Because the truth is, the real magic isn't in what you did. It's in who you became. The version of you that walks now isn't just a person. It's a symbol. A reminder that it's possible. That it can be done. That there's another way. That you don't have to settle, shrink, or play small. That you don't have to follow. You can lead. That you don't have to survive. You can dominate. And it all started with one quiet decision. One night when you said, no more. No more fear. No more delay. No more average. That's when you lit the fire. And since then, it hasn't gone out. It's only grown. And now the flames touch everything you do. Every step you take leaves a mark. Every word you speak holds weight. Every action echoes. You're not loud, but you're undeniable. And that's what shocks them most, because they expected fire to look wild, chaotic, destructive. But yours is controlled. It's focused. It's the fire of someone who knows, who's seen, who's bled, and still chose to rise. They stare because they're trying to figure it out. How you did it, how you endured, how you never quit, how you kept believing when no one else did. And maybe they never will understand. But that's not your job. Your job is to continue, to rise higher, to sharpen, to push boundaries, to remain relentless. Because now you don't just carry your own dreams, you carry the proof that it's possible, the proof that greatness can be built, that pain can be fuel, that silence can be strength, that the ones who shock the world are the ones who stop waiting for permission and start acting like it's already theirs. So let the shock continue. Let them whisper, let them wonder, let them try to explain it. But deep down, you'll always know, this isn't magic, this isn't luck, this is you, this is earned, this is fought for, this is built. They're looking at you like you're a wizard, but the only spell you ever cast was refusing to quit. They call it magic now, but they didn't see the seasons when nothing bloomed. They weren't there in the drought, when all you had were doubts and dried up hope and fading faith. They weren't there when the voice in your head was the only voice speaking, and it told you to give up. They didn't feel the ache in your chest, when dreams felt like distant echoes, instead of coming reality. And yet, you stayed. You stayed in the dark long enough to become the light. And now they marvel like spectators at a miracle, blind to the storm that built you. Because they only noticed the fruit, never the root. They never traced the blade back to the forge. But now, the blade is sharp. And they feel it when you speak, when you walk, when you enter a room. They feel that edge, that presence, that precision. You don't move fast, but you move with certainty. You don't talk a lot, but when you speak, it lands. There's a silence that follows your sentences, a stillness in the air after your steps. That's not arrogance, that's authority, and they know it. What they call wizardry is just what happens when discipline meets time, when focus meets fire, when someone wakes up every day and chooses not to fold. You've gone so deep into your purpose that the world must adjust around you. You don't chase anything now, you attract. Not because you're lucky, because you're aligned, and alignment is magnetic. Focus is magnetic. Clarity is magnetic. That's why their mouths are open. They're watching you like a puzzle they can't solve. You don't even move the same anymore, because once you figure it out, everything changes. You figured out that waiting was the real enemy, that potential means nothing without action, that people will doubt you until they can't, that pain is either your cage or your fuel. And once you got that, truly got it, you became unstoppable. You stopped needing their permission. You stopped shrinking to make them comfortable. You stopped explaining your vision to those who never saw it. You started moving with conviction, and now every step you take echoes through their lives like a warning. This is what happens when you commit. They thought the world worked a certain way until you showed them otherwise. They thought you needed connections, money, background, privilege, perfect timing. You had none of it. But what you did have was will. And will is a weapon. And when wielded right, it slices through every lie they've ever told themselves about why they can't make it. You don't speak to prove, you speak to shake. You walk through walls that used to stop you, and when they ask, how did you do it? The truth is, it wasn't one moment, it wasn't one event, it was millions of silent, invisible choices. To get up when it hurt, to go again when it failed, to learn when it stung, to stay disciplined when nobody clapped. You figured out that motivation fades, but identity doesn't. And so you didn't just change habits, you changed who you are. You became the kind of person who doesn't stop. And now it's not about success, it's about standard. You don't rise for applause, you rise because this is what you do now. You show up because that's who you are now. There's no off-season, no breaks, no back to normal. This is normal. Greatness is your new resting state, and that's why they look at you like you're something else. Because you are. You're not what they remember. You've outgrown the box they built for you. You've shed the labels. You've broken the mold. You've stepped out of their idea of you and into your true form. And that form, that essence, is terrifying to those who chose comfort, because now your presence is proof that it was never impossible, that it was never too late, that it was always in reach if they really wanted it. But they didn't, so now they stare, mouths wide open, eyes confused, hearts racing, because they realize they're in the presence of someone who chose differently, someone who stopped waiting, someone who didn't pray for doors, but kicked them open. You didn't beg for entry, you built the building. They said you couldn't, they laughed, they doubted, but doubt is a drug they gave themselves. You were never high on it, you were focused. You were faithful to the vision, even when it made no sense. You saw it so clearly you walked like it was already yours. That's not arrogance, that's certainty born of fire. Now they call it genius. Now they call it luck. Now they call it magic. But all of it was just consistency when nobody was clapping. All of it was just belief when the world said stop. All of it was just action when your bones ached and your mind begged you to rest. You kept going. You kept becoming. And now they look at you like a wizard, but you remember the truth. There was no spell, no wand, only will. No cape, only climb. No wand, only warfare with your weaker self, won 1,000 times in silence. They will never see the miles, the internal tears, the nights of not knowing if you're doing it right, but doing it anyway. The rejections, the failures, the versions of you that died so this one could live. But you know, and that's all that matters. So keep going. They're watching now, but they didn't help build the foundation. Their eyes are wide, but their hands are clean. Yours are calloused, scarred, marked with every sacrifice it took to figure it out. Wear that with pride, because while they're still figuring out how you did it, you're already building what's next. You didn't come this far to stop. You didn't rise this high to explain yourself. You didn't endure that much to play small now. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them keep staring like you're some supernatural force, because in a way, you are. You're the force they said didn't exist. You're the proof they swore wasn't real. You're the one who wasn't supposed to win, but did, not by accident, but by evolution. And evolution doesn't ask permission. The truth is, once you reach this point, there's no turning back. You've tasted what it feels like to become more than what they expected. You've stood at the edge of the cliff, looked down, and stepped off anyway, not to fall, but to fly. And now that you know the air up here, you'd never trade it for the ground again. The air is thin, sure. The nights are colder. The climb is lonelier. But up here, there's clarity, there's peace, there's power. Because no one handed this to you. No one opened a door. You kicked through a wall of impossibility and left cracks in every doubt that ever tried to cage you. Now, they don't just stare in awe, they whisper behind walls. Because you're not just successful, you're dangerous. Dangerous to their excuses. Dangerous to their comfort. Dangerous to the parts of them that want to stay asleep. But the alarm clock they didn't ask for. And when you walk in the room, everything changes. The atmosphere shifts. The energy tilts. They can feel it, even if they never admit it. The presence of someone who became the storm. They look at you like you're a wizard, because what you did doesn't add up in their world. You weren't supposed to be this focused, this locked in, this evolved. You weren't supposed to escape the version of you they created in their head, but you did. You outgrew it. You broke every frame they tried to place around you, and now they're stuck in a loop, replaying every moment they overlooked you, underestimated you, disrespected you. That's why their mouths are wide open, because now they know they missed something massive. You, Bao, were a seed they threw in the dark, but you didn't die. You rooted, you grew, and now you cast shadows on the very ones who thought they buried you. You became everything they said was unreachable, not just to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Because deep down, there was always a voice inside you whispering, "You're more than this." And the moment you started listening to that voice instead of theirs, everything began to shift. They don't get it because they never heard that voice clearly enough. Or maybe they did, but they drowned it out with comfort, with opinions, with fear. You listened, you obeyed, you put your head down, shut the world out, and let that voice guide you through darkness after darkness until it finally brought you to the light. And now, that voice is a roar. It's in everything you do, every step, every breath, every move you make echoes with that deep, unshakable knowing. You were built for this. You figured it out. Not just how to succeed, but how to see. You see life differently now. You don't chase trends, you set standards. You don't beg for seats at tables, you build new ones. You don't move for applause, you move for alignment. Because when you walk in purpose, the world has to take notice. That's why their eyes stay on you. That's why their mouths stay open. They feel it, the shift, the signal, that something rare just walked in. Not flashy, not loud, but undeniable. Now, you're not just a person to them, you're a symbol of what's possible, of what it looks like when someone refuses to live below their potential. And whether they love it or hate it, they can't unsee it. You are the uncomfortable reminder that comfort comes at the cost of greatness. You are the living result of war, not with others, but with the weaker version of yourself you buried along the way. And that's what shocks them most, not just your success, but your discipline, your resolve, your peace in chaos, your composure under pressure. They thought success would make you arrogant, but it made you still, calm, focused. You don't need to prove anything now. Your life speaks. Your work speaks. Your presence speaks. You carry silence like a weapon now, because people feel energy more than noise. You walk in purpose so sharp, so clear, it slices through every shallow thing around you, and it leaves them shook, confused, inspired, intimidated, sometimes all at once. They watch you now, like they're trying to solve a riddle, like they're studying you, like they're hoping to find your secret. But they never will, because it can't be copied, it can't be faked. You didn't download this, you earned it. Every scar, every doubt conquered, every tear you turned into fuel. You took the long road when the shortcuts looked easy. You went deep when the surface was safe. And now you're unreachable. Not because you're better, but because you went further. Further into discomfort, further into truth, further into yourself. And now they call it mystery. They call it genius. They call it magic. But you know what it is. It's clarity born from chaos. It's power born from pain. It's you, unmasked, unlocked, and unshakable. And the truth is, this is just the beginning. You're not done. You're not even close. This version of you is dangerous, but the next one will be legendary. Because now, you don't rise to prove. You rise because you can't not rise. It's who you are now. You're wired for it, built for it, called to it, and the world's just now starting to notice what you've known all along. That greatness is not a gift, it's a decision. So let them look, let them wonder, let them doubt and stare and analyze. Let their mouths hang open in confusion, in awe, in fear. Because the truth is this, they saw your silence as weakness, but it was focus. They saw your distance as arrogance, but it was discipline. They saw your transformation as sudden, but it was years in the making. And now that it's here, now that you've figured it out, it's not going anywhere. You're here, built, battle-tested, unfolded, awake. You are not the same. You are not explainable. You are not normal. You are the walking result of relentless belief, ruthless consistency, and uncompromising vision. They're in full shock mode, and it's only just begun. So now you stand here, not as who you were, but as who you chose to become. The silence behind you is loud because it's filled with everything you outgrew, and the noise ahead, that's the sound of the world realizing you're not a phase, you're a force. Let them stare, let them talk, let them tremble in the presence of someone who refused to be ordinary. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't need to slow down. Because this right here, this life, this level, this frequency isn't for everyone. It's for the few, for the focused, for the forged. You're not magic. You're evidence that it can be done, that it can be figured out. And now, they're in full shock mode, staring like you're a wizard, because in their world, you are. Mouths wide open, eyes wide shut, and all you did was become undeniable. My dear audience, welcome, welcome. Gather close. For today, we unshackle the chains of mediocrity and unveil the raw, untamed essence of power that lurks within you. Today, you discover the truth. They fear you. Oh, they do. They tremble, not at your words, not at your actions, not even at your mind, but at the very essence of your being. Because today you realize something that has been buried deep beneath the surface. You are the alpha now, and your energy has them in shock. They cannot fathom the magnitude of what you've become. But it's too late, because the transformation has already begun, and the world will feel your presence, whether it wants to or not. You are no longer a shadow, no longer a mere echo in the distance, no longer a speck of dust in a vast universe. No, my friend, today marks the moment when you shed the weak skin of the past and rise into your rightful place. You are the force that others sense but cannot understand. You are the storm that approaches without warning, and they know deep down that they cannot escape you, nor can they stop you. You see the power that resides within you. It's not some mystical force. It is not a gift given to a chosen few, nor is it something to be earned through the hollow pursuit of validation. No, what you have is real. It is raw and it is pure. You were born with it. It courses through your veins and runs deep in your soul. It is not something you learn. It is something you awaken. It is something that once ignited cannot be extinguished. The only question was, when would you realize it? When would you accept the truth that you are the predator, and the world around you is nothing but prey? It is not enough to live a life of quiet submission, to follow the rules of the meek and the ordinary. That is not your destiny. Your destiny is one of dominance, one of command, one of leaving your mark on this world so profound that the very earth trembles beneath your feet. Now you may wonder what it takes to become this alpha. And let me tell you, it is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of courage that keeps moving forward. In spite of it, it is not the lack of pain or struggle. It is the unyielding will to press on despite the wounds you carry. It is not about strength that is given to you by others, but the strength that you forge within yourself through your own blood, sweat and tears. It is the fire that burns when others give up, when others succumb to their own weakness. It is the refusal to remain stagnant in a world that thrives on mediocrity. It is the awareness that the energy you exude is a force of nature, one that shifts the balance of power and leaves a trail of broken resistance in its wake. They don't understand you. They can't comprehend how you rise so relentlessly, how you keep pushing when the world tells you to slow down and take it easy, when others crumble beneath the weight of their doubts. You stand tall and stare the storm in the face and say, bring it on, because you know what others don't. You know that you are built for this, that your bones are made of iron, that your spirit is unbreakable, and your mind is a weapon sharper than any blade. They cannot stop you, because they don't know what you're capable of. They look at you with confusion and fear, because your very presence disrupts their carefully constructed illusions of security. You are the chaos they never asked for, and yet they cannot turn away. They cannot look away, because deep down, they know they have no choice but to submit to your energy, your power, your will. But it's not just about the physical realm. No, this goes deeper than that. You see, to be the alpha, it requires an understanding of the unseen, the intangible, the psychological warfare that is waged in the minds of those around you. You don't just dominate the body, you dominate the mind. You don't just crush your enemies with brute force, you break them mentally. You instill a sense of fear within them that nothing else can touch you. See, it's all about control. It's all about imposing your will upon the world and bending it to your desires. It's about using your energy, not just to overpower, but to manipulate the very environment in which you exist. It's about understanding how to move in the shadows, how to strike when least expected, how to leave your mark without ever leaving a trace. There is no room for weakness in this world, none at all. The moment you show any sign of hesitation, you become prey the moment you second guess yourself. You lose your edge the moment you doubt your own worth. You become insignificant in the eyes of those who prey on the weak and the unworthy. You must never falter. You must never bend. You must never break. Because once you do, the world will eat you alive and leave nothing but the bones of what could have been, but not you, not anymore. Not once you have unlocked the truth of your potential. Not once you have discovered the raw power that lies within your very core. You are a force to be reckoned with, and the world will tremble when you enter a room, because they will feel your energy long before they see your face. They will know that you are not to be played with, that your will is unstoppable and your vision unshakable. And when you move forward, when you take that first step into the world of the powerful, you must remember one thing above all else. It's not enough to simply survive. It's not enough to simply exist. You must thrive. You must take what is yours and crush anyone who dares stand in your way. You must learn to make your own rules, because the rules of the weak do not apply to you anymore. The rules of society, the rules of decency, the rules of morality, they don't concern you. No, you create your own rules, and the world will bend to them. You set the terms, you demand the respect you have earned. You shape your own reality because you understand something they never will. The world belongs to those who are bold enough to take it, those who are fearless enough to walk the path of the predator, and relentless enough to make their vision a reality. So, stand tall, my friends. Stand tall and remember this. You are the alpha now, and the world will never be the same again. You have the energy that shocks the weak, the power that destabilizes the complacent, and the presence that commands respect. They will know you. They will feel you. They will recognize you because your energy is unmistakable. It is undeniable. It is yours and only yours to wield. Now go forth and unleash the full force of who you are. Let them feel the shock of your power. Let them tremble in the face of your potential. Let them witness the rise of the Alpha and know that nothing and no one will ever be the same again. The moment you realize this, the moment you truly awaken to your purpose, you step into a different realm altogether. You become a force of nature, a being so intertwined with raw energy and willpower that the mere thought of your name sends tremors through the hearts of those who dare to oppose you. From this moment on, your reality shifts. The rules of the world, the norms that once confined you, no longer matter. They were never meant for you. You were born to break them, to transcend them, to rise far above the boundaries that others have imposed. You are the Alpha, and the world bends to your will. But understand this path is not for the faint of heart. It's not for those who are looking for an easy way to glory, an easy shortcut to power. This is a journey that will test you at every turn, that will demand everything you have and more. The world does not give power freely, and it will not respect weakness. You will face obstacles, and there will be days when the weight of the world feels unbearable. But in those moments, you will have two choices. You can submit, or you can rise. And rise, you will, because the blood in your veins is not the blood of the common man. It is the blood of warriors, of conquerors, of those who carve their path with their bare hands. As you step into this newfound power, understand that your presence alone will begin to reshape the landscape of your life. The very energy you emit will start to disrupt the lives of those around you. They will look at you and see something different, something they cannot fully comprehend. It will be both fascinating and terrifying to them. You will become a force that is impossible to ignore. Those who once saw you as just another face in the crowd will now feel the weight of your gaze, the intensity of your spirit, the unyielding certainty that radiates from your every word and action. And they will tremble, not because of fear, not because you've threatened them, but because they sense something far more dangerous. They sense that you have broken free. You have cast off the shackles of societal norms, of mediocrity, and you now stand as a being of true power. Your energy is untouchable, unshakable, and it has them in shock because they have never encountered someone who carries themselves with such authority, such certainty. Let them tremble, for their fear is the proof of your greatness. It is a reflection of the power you hold, the strength you have discovered within yourself. The Alpha does not chase fear away. The Alpha embraces it. You welcome the trembling, for it is the mark of your impact. It tells you that your presence is being felt, that your energy is spreading, that your reach is expanding. The more they tremble, the more they doubt, the more you move forward, unstoppable, relentless. The truth is that many people in this world live their lives in a fog of uncertainty. They have never known what it means to truly stand in their power. They do not know what it means to walk into a room and demand respect simply by existing. They spend their lives adhering to a system designed to suppress them, to keep them small, to keep them invisible. But not you. You are not meant to be a cog in the machine. You are the one who moves the gears, who shifts the course of the world with a single, decisive motion. Your energy is a wave that cannot be stopped. It crashes through the walls of fear, doubt, and complacency, and leaves nothing but a wake of broken illusions. Understand that your role as the Alpha is not one of violence, not one of brute force. It is one of mastery. It is the mastery of yourself, the mastery of your environment, the mastery of those who surround you. When you stand in your power, you do not need to prove it to anyone. You do not need to shout to be heard. Your silence will speak louder than any words could. Your very presence will announce who you are and what you are capable of. But this power is not simply about taking control of the physical world around you. It is about taking control of the mental and emotional worlds as well. You will find that the greatest battles you fight will not be against external forces, but against your own mind. The Alpha knows this. They know that they must conquer their inner demons before they can conquer the world. They know that the battle for power begins within, and their true strength comes from mastering oneself. You will face doubts. You will question your own worth at times. You will encounter resistance, both from others and from within. But when you are the Alpha, you do not allow these doubts to define you. You do not give in to the voices of insecurity. You silence them with your confidence, with your unshakable belief in your own abilities. You rise above. Every challenge, every obstacle, every setback is just another opportunity to grow, to refine your power, to prove to the world and to yourself that you are exactly who you say you are. The Alpha, the one who leads, who dominates, who reshapes the world according to their will. To be the Alpha is not to be a tyrant. It is not to seek control for control's sake. It is to understand that true power lies in the ability to guide, to inspire, to elevate others as you rise. A true Alpha does not fear the strength of those around them. They embrace it. They see the value in others, and they know that their power is enhanced by the strength of their allies. An Alpha does not isolate themselves in a tower of ego. They surround themselves with others who share their vision, their drive, their hunger for success. They build empires, not alone, but with those who are worthy of standing by their side. And let us not forget one of the most essential elements of being the Alpha: discipline. The Alpha does not wake up and wait for inspiration to strike. The Alpha does not wait for motivation to come knocking at the door. The Alpha knows that greatness is achieved through consistency, through relentless action, through the daily choices that align with their vision. You must train yourself to be the best in every area of your life, not because you want to be admired, but because you are committed to your own personal growth. Every morning, every decision, every action is a reflection of the power you are cultivating within yourself. But what of those who seek to challenge you? What of those who see your rise and fear it? Understand this. They will try to bring you down. They will try to push you back into the shadows, to make you doubt yourself, to make you question your place in this world. But remember this, they cannot take from you what they did not give you. Your power is yours, and theirs is nothing but an illusion. They may try to break you, but they will fail. For the Alpha is not broken by the forces that seek to destroy them. The Alpha is forged by them. Your energy, your presence, your will are forces of nature that cannot be contained. As you step into this power, you will find that those around you begin to shift. Some will gravitate toward you, drawn by the force of your energy, eager to be in your presence, to be led by you. Others will try to tear you down, to diminish your light because they fear what they do not understand. Let them try. They cannot break you. You are the storm, the fire, the fury, and they are nothing but the wind trying to blow you off course. Stand firm. Let them scatter in your wake. You will not be moved. As you move forward, you will see the world change before your eyes. People will begin to see you as you see yourself, as the Alpha. They will look to you for guidance, for strength, for direction, and you will give it not because you must, but because it is your destiny. You were born to lead, to inspire, to create. The world needs your energy, your vision, your power. And when you stand in your truth, when you walk in your purpose, there is nothing that can stop you. You are the Alpha, and nothing will ever be the same again. The moment you step into your power, everything shifts. The world around you, the people who populate it, the opportunities that arise, all of it will feel the subtle tremor of your new energy. It's not a simple change, not a shift that happens in the blink of an eye. No, this transformation is seismic. When you move, when you speak, when you act, the world responds, and they will respond with awe, confusion, fear, and ultimately, respect. Because you have awakened something within yourself, something primal, untamed and powerful. You are no longer the one who follows. You are the one who leads, the one who creates, the one who commands. For too long, you may have lived in the shadows of others, following the status quo, fitting in with the crowd, shrinking yourself to fit the mold of what the world expected you to be. But now, all of that changes. The moment you accept that you are the Alpha, you break free from the chains of expectation. You stand taller, your spine straightens, your head lifts higher, and your gaze sharpens. You can feel it coursing through you, that energy that has been dormant, waiting for the right moment to ignite. The world will see you differently. They will see the power in your posture, the strength in your voice, the intensity in your eyes. You are no longer an afterthought. You are the force that commands attention. What does it mean to be the Alpha? It means to live a life of purpose and intent, to no longer wander aimlessly through life, waiting for things to happen to you. You make things happen. You seize opportunities. You create them. You forge your path with every decision, every action, every word. The Alpha doesn't wait for permission to rise, to succeed, to dominate. They take what is theirs because they understand one fundamental truth. Nothing in this world is handed to anyone. Nothing is given to you simply because you exist. You must take it. In the past, you may have been hesitant to take what you deserve, waiting for someone else to recognize your worth, your potential. But that is a mistake that the Alpha never makes. The Alpha recognizes their value without validation from the outside world. You don't need anyone's approval, anyone's permission, anyone's encouragement. You are self-made, self-sufficient, and unapologetically confident. Your energy speaks for you before your words ever do. You don't need to explain your worth because it is felt by everyone around you. This is what sets you apart from the masses. You are not swayed by the opinions of others. You are not deterred by doubt or negativity. You understand that people will try to undermine you, to criticize, to diminish your power. They will attempt to pull you back into the mold they want you to fit, but you refuse. They may want you to fail, to stumble, to falter, but you will not. For you are the Alpha, and the Alpha is unstoppable. They thrive in adversity. They rise higher when the world tries to push them down. Understand that there will be opposition. There will be those who try to undermine you at every turn, those who will attempt to tear you down, to cast doubt on your abilities, to challenge your place at the top. But you do not fear these people. They are nothing more than distractions. They are noise, trying to drown out the sound of your victory. Do not engage with them. Do not waste your time on them. Your energy is far too valuable to be spent on the opinions of those who have not and will never walk the path you walk. You are a force, a lion in a world of sheep. And when the sheep try to challenge the lion does not fight. The lion simply moves forward with no regard for those beneath it. And so shall you. Those who cannot keep up with you will eventually fall away. That's not a tragedy. That's the natural order of things. Not everyone is meant to walk the same path. Not everyone is destined for greatness. There are those who are content to sit in the back and watch the world unfold, to exist rather than live. But that is not your fate. You are here to dominate. You are here to rise above and beyond those who seek only comfort and safety. You are not born to be average, to blend in, to be forgotten. You were born to stand out, to make waves, to leave a legacy that will echo through time. As the Alpha, your decisions will shape the world around you. Every choice you make, every action you take, every word you speak will reverberate through your environment. The people around you will either adapt to your energy or they will fade into the background, irrelevant to the force you have become. They will either rise to meet you or be left behind. The Alpha does not wait for others to catch up. You move forward, always, and those who are meant to be part of your journey will come along for the ride. Those who cannot keep up will be discarded, and that is not your concern. Your focus is forward. Your vision is clear, and you will stop at nothing to achieve it. Leadership is not about popularity. It's not about pleasing everyone. The Alpha does not concern themselves with the approval of the masses. What matters is respect. The Alpha commands respect, not through fear alone, but through action, through results. People will respect you because they see what you've done. They see the way you carry yourself, the way you handle adversity, the way you walk through life with certainty and purpose. They see your results, and that is what inspires respect. It is not handed to you. It is earned through your unwavering commitment to your vision. And let us not forget one of the most important qualities of an Alpha: resilience. Resilience is the foundation upon which your power is built. You will face setbacks. You will face obstacles that seem insurmountable. You will encounter failures, rejection, and doubt. But the Alpha does not crumble in the face of adversity. The Alpha does not back down when the road gets tough. No, the Alpha rises stronger, more determined, more focused than ever before. The Alpha understands that failure is not a defeat. It is simply a lesson. It is an opportunity to refine your strategy, to learn from your mistakes, to grow even more powerful. Every failure is a stepping stone toward greatness. Every setback is an opportunity for a greater comeback. This is the mindset that will carry you through. You will not be deterred by temporary setbacks. You will not be shaken by challenges. You will rise, always, because you know who you are. You know what you're capable of. And when you know your own power, when you are in tune with your purpose, nothing can stand in your way. So, what happens now that you have embraced the alpha within you? What happens now that you've discovered the power that has always been inside you? The power that has been waiting for the right moment to awaken? Now, you take action. Now, you move with purpose, with clarity, with strength. You don't wait for the world to give you what you want. You take it. You create the opportunities you need. You shape the world around you according to your vision. You are the master of your destiny. And from this moment on, the world will never be the same. You are the alpha. And that, my friend, is the most powerful position you can ever hold. In conclusion, you have awakened the alpha within you. And with this newfound power, nothing will ever be the same. The world will feel the force of your presence, your will, and your unyielding drive. You no longer follow the crowd, you lead it. You create your own path and bend the world to your vision. The challenges, the obstacles, and the doubts will come, but you will face them with resilience, confidence, and an unwavering belief in your own potential. You are unstoppable. You are the alpha, and the world is yours to conquer.